Every morning at exactly 6:15 a.m., Margaret Ellis wakes up before the sun rises over Cleveland. She does not need an alarm clock. At 78, her body has become its own reminder of time. Aching knees, stiff fingers, and a dull pressure in her lower back that greets her before her feet even touch the floor. Margaret lives alone in a small, aging house on the east side of the city. The wallpaper in the hallway is peeling slightly at the corners. The wooden floors creak in places she knows by heart. The house used to feel full of laughter, arguments about dinner, the sound of a television playing too loudly. But that was years ago. Her husband, Thomas, passed away 9 winters ago after a long battle with heart disease. Since then, silence has settled into the rooms like dust. She shuffles into the kitchen, gripping the counter for balance. The coffee machine gurgles softly, and for a moment, that small mechanical sound feels like company. She pours her coffee into the same chipped blue mug she has used for 20 years. Outside the window, the world moves on without her. Cars drive past, neighbors head to work, children wait for the school bus. Margaret watches them from behind the glass. She used to be the kind of woman who moved quickly, who hosted Thanksgiving dinners, who volunteered at the local library, who walked 3 miles every Sunday just because she could. Now, walking to the mailbox at the end of the driveway feels like a quiet victory. Loneliness does not arrive loudly. It does not knock on the door. It seeps in slowly through empty chairs, untouched plates, and evenings that stretch too long. Margaret does not cry often. Instead, she sighs. And in those sighs lives the unspoken question: who am I now when my body is no longer strong? The first time Margaret falls, it happens quietly. There's no dramatic music, no witness, no one to rush in and catch her. It is a Tuesday afternoon in late October. The air outside is sharp with early winter, and dry leaves scatter across her driveway in Cleveland. Margaret decides she will sweep the porch. Just a small task, she tells herself. Something useful, something normal. She grips the broom with both hands. The motion feels familiar, comforting even. But when she steps backward to gather a pile of leaves, her heel catches on the uneven edge of the concrete. Her balance disappears in a split second. The world tilts, and then impact. Her hip hits first, then her elbow. The broom clatters beside her. For a moment, she cannot breathe. The pain is sharp, blooming outward like fire under her skin. She stares at the gray sky above her, stunned not just by the fall, but by how easily it happened, how quickly her body betrayed her. She tries to sit up, but her right leg trembles violently. Her heart pounds, not from exertion, but from fear. What if I can't get up? The thought is colder than the October wind. It takes her nearly 15 minutes to push herself upright using the porch railing. By the time she gets inside, her hip throbs and her pride hurts even more. She does not call her daughter in Chicago. She does not call a doctor. Instead, she places an ice pack on her hip and whispers to herself, "I'm fine." But that night, as she lies in bed, she cannot ignore the truth pressing against her ribs. The fall was not just an accident, it was a warning. Her body is changing faster than she is willing to admit, and for the first time, Margaret feels something deeper than loneliness. She feels vulnerable. After the fall, Margaret tells herself she will be more careful. She moves slower. She grips the walls when she walks down the hallway. She avoids the porch altogether. But fear has a way of reshaping a life. The pain in her hip lingers longer than she expects. Some mornings it burns sharply when she tries to stand. Other days, it feels like a heavy stone lodged inside her joint. She begins skipping her short walks to the mailbox. The grocery store becomes exhausting. Even standing at the stove feels like a marathon. Her world, once modest but manageable, starts shrinking. One afternoon, her daughter Emily calls from Chicago. "Mom, you sound tired," Emily says gently. "I'm just fine," Margaret answers too quickly. But Emily has always known her mother's silences better than her words. A week later, a letter arrives from the hospital, a reminder about her overdue checkup. Margaret sets it on the kitchen table and stares at it for a long time. She knows what they will say. Physical therapy, mobility concerns, maybe even assisted living. Assisted living. The words echo in her mind like an accusation. To Margaret, it feels like surrender. This house is the last place that still feels like hers. Every scratch on the wall, every stain on the carpet holds a memory of Thomas. Leaving would mean admitting that she cannot manage on her own anymore. And independence has always been her quiet pride. But the real conflict is not just physical, it is internal. Each time she struggles to open a jar, each time she lowers herself carefully into a chair, each time she pauses halfway up the stairs to catch her breath, she hears a voice she does not recognize. "You are becoming a burden." The thought frightens her more than the pain. And so she says nothing. She hides the limp when neighbors pass by. She laughs lightly on the phone. She convinces herself that this is temporary. But inside, something is shifting, not just in her bones, in her identity. Winter arrives early in Cleveland that year. The snow falls heavily, covering the sidewalks and driveways in thick, white silence. Margaret watches it from her living room window, wrapped in a faded gray cardigan that once belonged to Thomas. The house feels colder than usual, even with the heater humming. One evening, the power goes out. It happens just after 8 p.m. The lights flicker once, twice, then everything disappears into darkness. Margaret freezes. The refrigerator stops humming. The clock on the microwave goes blank. Outside, the wind howls against the siding of the house. Her first instinct is to stand, but as she rises too quickly, a sharp pain shoots through her hip. She gasps and grips the arm of the couch. The room spins slightly. She waits for it to settle, heart racing. The flashlight is in the kitchen drawer, 10 steps away. It might as well be a mile. She takes one careful step, then another. Her breathing grows shallow. The darkness feels alive, pressing against her. Halfway across the room, her leg gives out. Not fully, but enough to make her stumble hard into the coffee table. The pain is immediate and blinding. This time, she cannot steady herself fast enough. She collapses to the floor. The cold wood beneath her cheek feels unforgiving. For several long seconds, she doesn't move. The only sound is the wind outside and her own uneven breathing. And then, something inside her breaks. Not a bone, but the illusion. Tears spill down her face, hot, uncontrollable, almost childlike. She is not crying just because she fell. She is crying because she understands something she has been avoiding for months. She is no longer safe alone. The house that once held love now feels like a trap. Lying there in the dark, Margaret whispers Thomas's name, not because she expects an answer, but because she misses being held by someone who made her feel steady. The power returns 20 minutes later, but something inside her does not. For the first time, Margaret feels truly afraid of her own future. Margaret does not tell anyone about that night. Not at first. But fear has a way of lingering in the body. It settles into the shoulders, into the breath, into the way a person hesitates before standing up. The next morning, As pale winter light spills into her kitchen in Cleveland, she notices her hands trembling while pouring coffee. She cannot pretend anymore. Later that afternoon, she picks up the phone and stares at Emily's name. Her thumb hovers above the screen. For years, Margaret has been the strong one, the mother who solved problems, who never asked for help unless it was absolutely necessary. Today, it feels necessary. When Emily answers from Chicago, her voice is warm, busy, alive with movement in the background. "Hi, Mom." Margaret opens her mouth, but for a moment, no words come out. Pride and fear wrestle inside her chest. "I fell again," she finally says, her voice smaller than she expects. There is silence on the other end. Not judgment, not panic, just concern. "Are you hurt?" I'm okay," Margaret replies, and then softer, "But I was scared." It is the first honest sentence she has spoken in months. That evening, they talk longer than they have in years. About the fall, about the pain, about the loneliness Margaret never named. Emily suggests installing grab bars, seeing a doctor, even exploring part-time in-home care. Margaret's first instinct is to resist, but something has shifted. She realizes that accepting help is not the same as surrendering independence. It might be the only way to preserve it. For the first time, she allows herself to imagine a different kind of strength, not the strength of lifting heavy boxes or climbing stairs without effort, but the strength of saying, "I cannot do this alone anymore." And somehow, that feels braver. Change does not arrive all at once. It comes quietly, like morning light slipping through the curtains in Cleveland. 2 weeks after that phone call, a nurse named Carla begins visiting Margaret twice a week. She is in her early 40s, practical but kind, with steady hands and an easy laugh that fills the kitchen in a way Margaret hasn't heard in years. At first, Margaret feels embarrassed. She apologizes for the clutter that isn't really there. She insists she can make her own tea. She tries to move faster than her body allows. But Carla never rushes her. During their sessions, they practice small things, standing up slowly, strengthening her legs, learning how to balance properly. The exercises are simple, almost humbling. Lift, hold, breathe, sit. Some days are frustrating. Margaret's muscles tremble after only a few repetitions. Her hip aches. Pride stings. But other days, there are small victories. The first time she walks to the mailbox again without gripping the fence, she feels something unfamiliar bloom in her chest. Not the confidence of youth, but resilience. Emily also arranges for grab bars in the bathroom and brighter lighting in the hallway. The house begins to feel less like an obstacle and more like a partner in her safety. Margaret starts attending a senior community lunch once a week at a nearby church. The first time she goes, she almost turns the car around. But inside, she meets others who move slowly, who laugh loudly, who share stories of surgeries, grandchildren, and long marriages. She realizes something important. She is not the only one learning how to live in a body that has changed. Her recovery is not dramatic. There are no miraculous transformations. There is only consistency, small steps, gentle acceptance. And for the first time in years, Margaret begins to see aging not as a personal failure, but as a season of life that requires a different kind of courage. Spring returns softly to Cleveland. The snow melts into narrow streams along the sidewalks. Small green shoots push through the damp earth in Margaret's front yard. For the first time in months, she opens the windows and lets fresh air move through the house. The silence is still there, but it no longer feels as heavy. Margaret moves carefully, yes, but not fearfully. The grab bars in the bathroom no longer symbolize weakness. They are simply tools. The cane by the door is not an enemy, it is a companion. One afternoon, she sits on the porch with a light blanket over her knees, watching children ride their bikes down the street. Her hip still aches when the weather changes. Her hands still tremble sometimes when she buttons her sweater. Her body is not what it once was, and it never will be again. But something inside her has grown steadier. She thinks about the woman she used to be, the one who carried groceries without effort, who danced in the kitchen with Thomas, who believed strength meant doing everything alone. Now she understands something different. Strength is not the absence of weakness. It is the willingness to adapt. It is allowing your daughter to help install safety rails. It is accepting a nurse's steady hand. It is showing up to a community lunch even when your pride tells you to stay home. Aging has taken certain things from her: speed, stamina, the illusion of endless time. But it has also given her clarity. She no longer measures her worth by what her body can accomplish in a day. She measures it by the kindness she offers, the honesty she practices, and the courage it takes to keep living fully, even within limitations. As the sun lowers in the sky, casting golden light across her porch, Margaret closes her eyes for a moment. Her body may no longer be strong, but her heart has never been stronger. And for the first time in a long while, she feels at peace with the woman she is becoming.